Hi, I'm Carol O'Halloran and welcome to the show. Who cares how old you are? Over 50, so what? Over 60, so what? We often talk about fitness and diet having a major impact on our health and our quality of life. But did you know that there is one thing which has the most impact over everything else? And that is having a positive attitude towards aging. Studies show that people having a positive attitude live on average 7.5 years longer. Today we're going to continue our chat with Victor Perton from the Centre for Optimism. After the break, get on your feet and join in the fitness segment or do it in your chair. And then later, another fun way to keep fit is square dancing. Once you get the bug, you might end up dancing your way all around Australia and overseas. Are you a glass half full kind of person or a glass half empty? It becomes quite challenging in these times to look on the optimistic side of life. Today, we chat again with Victor Perton from the Centre for Optimism. Victor is the author of Optimism, the How and Why, and the Case for Optimism, the Optimist's Voices. So what happens as we age? Some people think your optimism sort of slides away, and as you get older you tend to be more grumpy and complaining and have a more negative outlook on life. Can you comment on this?
Yeah, it's actually the reverse. Young people tend to be positive, but not necessarily optimistic. So that first broken romance, it's like the end of the world, the first job interview and they didn't get the job, the first failed exam at university or school is terrible and traumatic. So as you age, you understand that failure is a natural thing, that tragedy is a natural thing. So the thought is that optimism generally increases till you're in your mid-40s. Something happens at that sort of mid-40 level where people have got to reframe their dreams. I'm 45 and I'm not going to be the CEO of the company. So they reframe their dreams a bit. Then it tends to continue upwards. And then, as you say, that sort of mid-70s, late 70s, where, the hips might be starting to get a bit sore or, the knees, that level of complaint. But then as people grind through that, and you do grind on that bad knee, again, you tend to get that increase in optimism. So for the optimistic people, it almost increases almost lifelong. And the great challenge to us is, can we on our deathbed transmit that optimism to the next generation? My mum died at 92 last year and we had to have a small funeral because of the COVID lockdowns. But, her funeral was a celebration. And we had hundreds of people online and we had an online wake and the like. And so the challenge is, can you in your 90s or even hundreds continue to transmit that optimism? And there's an Italian study looking at 100-year-olds who remain active in community life. What are the two traits, Carol? Purpose and optimism. So sure, 30% of the population are probably entrenched in that whinging and whining and thinking the world is falling apart. But I always like what Steven Pinker, the professor of psychology at Harvard, said. He said, if you can remember the good old days, you've got a bad memory.
I think it's a good mixture of nature and nurture for me, optimism. I seem to have been born with some genes that make me a very hopeful person, as somebody that actually looks to the future with excitement. But also the nurture part of it is that sense of confidence that has come, I think, over time. You can build up optimism over time, a confidence that things can work out.
Now, what can we do to make ourselves more optimistic?
Really just a few habits. My favourite one in the Australian context, Carol, is to change your greeting. So in Australia, how do you normally greet people when you're on the street, Carol?
I introduce myself. I say, I'm Carol, Christmas Carol. So I sort of make them laugh at straight away. So to put, sort of a bright spin on it.
Most people in Australia greet people with a hello, how are you? Or a g'day, how are you? And it's about 90%, 95%. And then 65% of the answers are not bad or not too bad. And we never say, oh my God, what's wrong? We just ignore it. So if you think of the thousands of times you've greeted people, said, how are you? And you've got this nondescript answer, not bad or not too bad. Imagine how many minutes you've wasted. So what I'd like to challenge each of your viewers with is for the next day or two, even the next week, if you can manage it, get rid of the question, how are you? And replace it with something like, what's been the best thing in your day? Now, the first time you do it, people will look at you as if you're speaking to them in Swahili and they don't know Swahili. But 80% of people will then give you a positive. You know, it might be, oh, hard to think about, but I had a beautiful breakfast this morning, or it's a beautiful sunrise this morning. Now, of course, they might then say to you, and what's been the best thing in your day? So you've got to be ready to answer it. But we've done this in controlled environments like prison. The other day, I was in a supermarket and I've got a yellow mask which says, what makes you optimistic? And the checkout lady said, what do you do? And I told her, and I said, try this thing. Get rid of how are you and replace it with what's the best thing happening. And she looked a bit doubtful, Carol. And I said, well, let's try it with the people behind us. And there was a lady and her daughter about 10. And I said, well, may we ask you, what's been the best thing in your day? And the little girl lit up. She said, I got 82 for my test. So she lit up, mum lit up, the people behind lit up, the people in the two queues lit up. The second one, Carol, and you exemplify it, is just smile a bit more. You know, I live in Melbourne, but most of Australia's been the same. We've been locked behind masks and we've lost the habit of smiling at people. And in this audience with the Dalai Lama, when you think of the success of the Dalai Lama, he attributes a large part of it to just saying hello and smiling at everyone. So this is something else I'd like your viewers to try. So just checking in that you're smiling and saying hello to everyone, life will be better. The third one is laugh more. We just got to laugh more. Whenever I do a group session, Carol, we do 30 seconds of laughter yoga, and it's just lovely. The fourth thing I'd really suggest to your viewers is turn down the news. When I was young, you know, in the mid-70s, the statistics show that the news was 50-50 good, bad. Today, it's 95% bad. Listening to the news, you think the world was going to hell. Whereas the world is undeniably better. We're living healthier. We're living more peacefully. We've solved diseases. We've halved the malaria death rate. The world is getting better. And then the last one I'd share, Carol, and some of your viewers might already be doing it, is a thing called a gratitude journal. So the idea is just at the end of the day, if you're in your nightie or your pajamas, you have a nice little pad by your bed or a piece of paper, and just write down the 3 best things that happened in your day. And it doesn't need to be solving world peace. It could be having a great cup of tea with friends. But the trick with it, and it is said to be more effective than medication for depression and anxiety for most people, the trick with it is to read it first thing in the morning, Carol. Don't wake up to the news on your clock alarm. First input you want is your gratitude from yesterday. And some people will flick back, and it actually is the great basis for a book. That's 5 things. We've actually got 20 habits of the Optimist. There's a free online course there that we run out to the British government. It's animated, it's fun. You get a certificate of the habits of an optimist at the end.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'm sure the viewers have got lots of good take-home things they can do. We have challenged the viewers before to laugh in the shower in the morning, just as part of the laughter yoga thing. When you have a shower in the morning, we did challenge them to do that.
Well, do you want to try and do it now, Carol?
Sure.
Let's do it. All right, so viewers, if you've got someone else in the room, look at them rather than us. We're going to breathe in twice, and then the third breath, we are just going to laugh hysterically, and Carol and I will lead you in that. So let's breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Oh, and viewers, you can see it's aerobic. My face has turned red from the blood flushing through. Carol's flushed as well. So whether you do that under the shower or whether you do it in a group, it is fantastic fun.
Thanks for watching our TV show. Be sure to hit subscribe and then you'll never miss an episode. Jump on Facebook, join our group, get in on the fun, fitness, wellness and inspiration. I'm Carol, over 50. So what?